Living a life that honors God is a journey, a daily commitment shaped by faith, humility, and a desire to reflect divine love in every thought, word, and action. At its core, honoring God means aligning your life with principles that transcend personal desires and ambitions, choosing instead to seek a higher purpose. But what does this look like in practical, everyday terms? First, it begins with the heart. Honoring God starts with a sincere desire to know Him, to understand His character, and to foster a relationship built on trust and reverence. This relationship is cultivated through prayer, meditation, and the study of sacred scriptures. By opening your heart in honest communication, you invite God into your life, seeking not just answers or blessings, but a deeper connection. It's in these quiet, reflective moments that your intentions are shaped and your spirit is renewed. Next, living a life that honors God involves embracing humility. It's recognizing that you are part of a larger story and that your gifts and talents are opportunities to serve rather than sources of pride. Humility allows you to listen before you speak, to forgive when wronged, and to admit when you fall short. It's about letting go of the need for control and trusting that God's wisdom often surpasses your own understanding. Integrity is another cornerstone. To honor God, your words and actions must be in harmony, whether you are in public or in private. This means making choices that are honest and just, even when they are difficult or inconvenient. It's about resisting the temptation to cut corners, to gossip, or to act out of selfishness. Integrity requires courage, but it also builds trust and respect, qualities that reflect the divine nature you aim to emulate. Compassion is central to a God-honoring life. The teachings of many faith traditions emphasize loving your neighbor, not just those who are easy to love, but especially those who are different, difficult, or in need. This love is not merely a feeling, but an active commitment to kindness, generosity, and understanding. It's about reaching out to the lonely, standing up for the oppressed, and giving without expecting anything in return. In doing so, you become a vessel of God's love in a world that desperately needs it. Gratitude is another vital aspect. To honor God is to recognize the blessings in your life, big and small, and to respond with thankfulness. This attitude of gratitude transforms how you see the world, encouraging contentment and joy even in challenging times. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from complaints to praise, from anxiety to peace. Obedience to God's guidance is also key. This doesn't mean following rules out of fear or obligation, but rather embracing God's wisdom as a source of freedom and fulfillment. It's about seeking His will in your decisions and being willing to change course when prompted by conviction. Sometimes, this means making sacrifices or standing alone, but it also leads to a life of purpose and meaning. Finally, honoring God is a lifelong process, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. There will be moments of doubt, failure, and frustration, but each day is an opportunity to realign your heart and renew your commitment. Surrounding yourself with a supportive community, seeking encouragement, and offering grace to yourself and others along the way can make the journey richer and more rewarding. In the end, to live a life that honors God is to let His love, truth, and grace shape who you are and how you live. It's choosing faith over fear, service over self-interest, and hope over despair. And in doing so, you not only honor God, you inspire others to do the same. Being a true follower of Jesus is about more than identity or belief. It's about living out a set of habits that reflect His teachings and example. Throughout history, millions have sought to walk the path He set. But what exactly sets apart those who genuinely strive to follow Him? Let's explore 5 powerful habits that mark the lives of true Jesus followers. First, true Jesus followers cultivate a life of prayer. For Jesus, prayer wasn't an occasional ritual. It was the heartbeat of His relationship with God the Father. He often withdrew from the crowds to pray in solitude, seeking guidance, strength, and communion with God. His followers, too, make prayer a daily habit. This isn't just about reciting words, but about honest conversation with God, sharing joys, fears, burdens, and hopes. Through prayer, true followers find peace, wisdom, and the courage to live out their faith. They pray not just for themselves, but for others, interceding on behalf of friends, family, and even strangers. This habit roots their lives in humility and dependence on God, shaping every decision and action. Second, true Jesus followers immerse themselves in the teachings of Scripture. Jesus himself quoted and taught from the Scriptures, using them as the foundation for his ministry. His followers understand that to know Jesus, they must know his words. They set aside time to read, reflect, and meditate on the Bible, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to understand God's will. They let the wisdom of Scripture challenge their assumptions, correct their mistakes, and inspire new ways of loving and serving others. Over time, the words of Jesus become a living guide, shaping their thoughts, attitudes, and responses to the world around them. Third, true followers of Jesus practice radical love and forgiveness. Jesus taught that the greatest commandments are to love God and love others. But he didn't stop there. He called his followers to love their enemies, bless those who curse them, and forgive those who wrong them. This kind of love is not easy. It requires humility, compassion, and a willingness to let go of pride and resentment. True Jesus followers make it a habit to look for the good in others, to extend grace, and to seek reconciliation. They serve the poor, care for the marginalized, and stand up for justice, following Jesus' example of selfless love. Fourth, true Jesus followers live with integrity and authenticity. Jesus warned against hypocrisy and empty religious rituals. Instead, he valued honest, heartfelt devotion. His true followers strive to align their actions with their beliefs, whether in public or in private. They admit their mistakes, seek forgiveness, and work to grow in character. They don't pretend to be perfect, but they are sincere in their desire to honor God in every area of life. This authenticity draws others in, showing that faith is not about appearances, but about genuine transformation from the inside out. Finally, true followers of Jesus are committed to sharing hope and serving others. Jesus came not to be served, but to serve, and he commissioned his followers to do the same. They look for opportunities to meet the needs of those around them, whether through a listening ear, a helping hand, or a word of encouragement. They share their faith not with arrogance, but with humility and respect, inviting others to discover the hope and purpose they've found in Jesus. These 5 habits, prayer, immersion in Scripture, radical love and forgiveness, authentic living, and a commitment to service, are the marks of those who truly follow Jesus. They are not just rules to follow, but ways of living that bring life, purpose, and transformation. By embracing these habits, anyone can draw closer to the heart of Jesus and reflect his love to a world in need. Every day we are faced with choices, some small and seemingly insignificant, others monumental and life-changing. Among these, perhaps the most profound decision any of us can make is the one that shapes not just our actions, but the very direction of our lives. Choosing Jesus over the world. The world offers us many things. It promises success, comfort, and fleeting moments of happiness. We are told to chase after wealth, recognition, and pleasure, believing that these will fill the emptiness inside us. The world's voice is loud, persuasive, and persistent, calling us to follow its ways and adopt its values. It often seems easier to blend in, to conform, to take the wide and crowded road. But then there is the gentle, persistent call of Jesus, a call that invites us to something deeper, more enduring, and infinitely more meaningful. Jesus does not promise a life free from challenges, nor does he guarantee earthly riches or acclaim. Instead, he offers peace that surpasses understanding, joy that endures through trials, and love that never fails. He invites us into a relationship, not just a religion, into transformation, not just tradition. Choosing Jesus over the world means redefining what truly matters. It means recognizing that our worth is not determined by our possessions, our popularity, or our achievements, but by the Creator who knows us by name. It means trusting that even when the path is narrow and difficult, we are never alone. Because the one who walked this earth, who faced rejection, pain, and death itself, walks with us still. This choice is not always easy. It often means standing out when we would rather fit in, speaking up when it would be simpler to stay silent, or loving when it would be easier to turn away. It may mean letting go of habits, relationships, or ambitions that pull us away from our true purpose. But in surrendering these things, we gain something far greater: a life anchored in hope, guided by truth, and filled with the assurance that we are deeply loved. The world tells us to seek our own comfort and control our destiny. Jesus calls us to serve others, to forgive, and to trust in God's plan, even when we cannot see the whole picture. He challenges us to love our enemies, to care for the least among us, and to give generously, knowing that real treasure is stored up not in bank accounts or accolades, but in the hearts we touch and the lives we change. When we choose Jesus over the world, we are choosing light over darkness, faith over fear, and eternity over the temporary. We are choosing to build our lives on a firm foundation, knowing that storms may come, but our hope will not be shaken. We are choosing to follow the one who gave his life for us, who conquered death, and who offers us a future filled with purpose and promise. It's a choice we make not just once, but every day, in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. It's in the quiet moments of prayer, the acts of kindness when no one is watching, the courage to stand for what is right, and the willingness to forgive. Each decision, each sacrifice, each step of faith draws us closer to the heart of Jesus and further away from the empty promises of the world. So as we consider the path before us, let us remember that true fulfillment is not found in what the world gives, but in who Jesus is. By choosing him, we find not only the life we were meant to live, but the joy of walking with the one who loves us beyond measure, today, tomorrow, and forever.